All right. Well, hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 19 of Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. This is a live podcast where you get to meet successful business owners, receive a glimpse of life behind the scenes with them, along with the struggles that they've overcome. It's full of gold nuggets, and it's a place where we hang out to be authentic and share a piece of real life with you. And today I'm talking with Karie Price. She's a brand messaging coach helping ambitious, service-based business owners find and own the words to stand out, be heard, and make your message roar. And my name is Pamela Lewerenz. I'm the Brick Wall Coach. I'm a business consultant and productivity coach that works with overwhelmed, stressed out solopreneurs just to help them create space and time in their busy days. So if you're tired of trying to stay focused on all the things there are to do with running a business, and you are ready to step into your role as CEO of your dream business, I'm the gal that can help you get there clearly and confidently. So I'm so excited to talk to Karie today. Welcome, Karie.
Thank you so much, Pamela. I'm so excited to be here with you and get a chance to catch up and chat a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Because we were just saying before we went on air, it's been I think this whole year we haven't had a conversation to touch base.
I think so. I think you're right. I can't believe that now that you say that out loud. That's been too long.
Yeah. It's like 2019 is almost over.
I know, we're on that downward slide. I say, like, once you hit October 1st, you're on that quick downward slide through the holidays and out the end of the year. But it's not too late to make the most of this year. There's still time.
There's still plenty of time, of time. But yeah, once the holidays come into play, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start out with maybe having you share a little bit about yourself, that face that's behind the name of your business, just the personal side.
Yeah, me as a person. Yeah. I really appreciate that because, in the online space, it makes it so easy for us to connect with each other and we feel like we know each other.
Yeah.
But you don't get to like that chit chat, like just who you are in real life offline as well. So I really appreciate that question. I live in East Texas. Tyler to be exact. And it's funny because I always preface with, I live about 100 miles east of Dallas and, a place called Tyler. And I'm always amazed by how many people have heard of Tyler because I never heard of Tyler until we decided to move here. But I live in Tyler, Texas with my husband of 19 and a half years.
Yay.
We're going to celebrate 20 next year. It's so crazy. So blessed.
I know. We celebrated 22 this year.
Congratulations.
And as you know, that's a huge milestone.
Huge. Yeah. And it's funny because I'll just tell you, I met my husband online before online dating was cool. So that was back in 1999, and I didn't tell anybody I was meeting people online. So now it's a normal thing, but yeah, we met online. We were married 9 months after we met, not because of kids or anything, just happens to be. And we've been married for almost 20 years. So super excited. We have 3 cats, no kids. Those are my children.
Definitely.
Those of you who are pet parents totally understand that.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And actually, I was just sharing with Pamela before we went live. We've lived here in Tyler. Well, we've lived in Tyler for 8 years, in this house for almost 6. But in the 21 years that a little over 20 years that my husband and I have actually been together, we've moved 13 times.
That's so hard for anyone who has not even contemplating, moving. It's hard.
Yeah, it's funny because we used to I call it itchy. We just would get itchy for something new and different about every year to year and a half. And we've lived in some really amazing places. We met in Northern California in the Bay Area. We've lived in Portland, Seattle, San Diego, Houston, and now Tyler. We've lived in some really cool places, but I used to joke that I should have invested in cardboard because or invested in plastic bins, because I can't tell you how much cardboard we bought and then got rid of thinking, we're not going to move anymore.
Yeah.
And we just,
this is it. We're going to stay here at least for a year.
yeah. Yeah. So I got to tell you, like being in this house for almost 6 years, people don't believe me that we're not moving, but I'm just like, nope, I'm feeling pretty set. Like, I think I've got one more move in me. We'd like to move somewhere with a little bit more land and custom build. This house was a semi-custom build. So it's, I mean, if I have to live in this house for the rest of my life, I'm going to be very happy.
Yeah.
But I'm like done with the moving. I'm getting too old for this stuff.
I know. I say the same thing, although I already know this is not my forever home.
Yeah.
But at least we got to the state of South
Yes.
Carolina. And that's the important piece to me. And the rest will unfold. I'm not really sure. My husband has this great same kind of thing, like he needs to wander. And
Yeah.
when we first got together and we stayed in Connecticut that whole entire time, I mean, after about 8 years, he was chomping at the bit back then. Are we going? Are we going?
Right?
Where's our next adventure? And I'm like, I've only ever lived in Connecticut. I have no plans to move anywhere else.
Yeah.
And that changed. That changed.
Yeah. Isn't that funny though? Like I grew up in California and never consciously thought about leaving California. But what started this whole thing for us is we actually vacationed in Portland and fell in love with it, went home and put our house on the market. And so for many years, that's what was happening. We'd vacation somewhere, we'd fall in love and we're like, oh, let's go there just because we can, you know?
Yep.
So my parents and my sister, like they used to say, you guys aren't allowed to vacation anywhere anymore because you're just going to keep moving.
Next time you go on vacation, make it a staycation.
We are definitely staycation people.
Oh, so why don't you tell us, what did you do before you became an entrepreneur?
I think first of all, I've kind of, I think always had a little bit of entrepreneurial spirit in me. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs probably say that because not everybody's cut out to do this. And there's nothing wrong for those people who don't. Like you got to know if that's what you want to do or not. But I actually started my corporate career in software development.
Oh.
I was a programmer for all of about 3 minutes, but I thankfully had, and the reason was I was good at it, but I didn't like sitting in front of a computer and not actually interacting with people.
Yeah.
And I had a really great boss who said, awesome, because you've got the technical skills and the people skills. I want you to be a business analyst. So really most of my career is a business analyst, and you don't have to know everything that a business analyst does, but really my main job was to go in and learn all about my clients, their business, the problems they were having, so that we could develop software solutions for them.
Oh, I love that.
So you get to be a really good listener. You learn how to ask great questions. You know that the problem that people have is never really the problem, right? I mean, you know this working with clients. Like we say this is the problem, but there's usually something underneath that.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
It's like peeling the onion back, you know?
Yeah. And coming in knowing like, I don't know everything about your business, but I know how to ask the right questions to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I used to come home and talk to my husband about the kinds of projects I was working on and the people that I was working with, the exercises I was doing with them to learn about them. And he's a graphic designer and a brand developer. And he said to me one day, he goes, oh my gosh, my job would be so much easier if I had like that level of understanding about the businesses so that we could develop messaging and then visual elements, logos and color schemes and all of that. And so, gosh, I think it's been 16 years now. We actually had a full service branding agency in the Portland area.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we would go in, we'd learn all about your business, develop the entire messaging foundation for how to talk to your audience, how to position yourself, develop the visual brand, and then roll it out. Now, let me caveat that by saying 16 years ago, there was no social media.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's very different, more of those traditional marketing techniques, but the fundamentals to brand development are the same.
The same.
Right. How to know how to talk to your audience and who your audience is and all of that. So we did that for a few years, and I'd gone on to work for other creative agencies, kind of back and forth to business analysis and honing those skills. And a few years ago, I decided I just kind of was done working for other people. I really wanted to get back to working for myself. And my husband's very happy at the agency that he's at. So he wasn't interested in opening another agency again. But as I was thinking about what made us so successful in working with our clients, it's the learning about the business and developing the messaging. That was really the key differentiator for everything that those clients went on to do.
Yeah.
And so I knew that that was the piece I really wanted to help people with. I wanted to help them get really clear in their message, how they show up for their audience, how to position themselves as an expert. Now that we do have social media, it's easier than ever for people to go into business for themselves.
It is.
Harder than ever to stand out.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I have to agree.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I knew that's the area that I really wanted to focus in on and helping people, because what I see too often, and you've heard the statistics, like the abysmal failure rates of small businesses that don't survive 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's because,
even up to 5 years. That's amazing. Those statistics. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's disheartening. And right? Like so many people really want this for themselves, but like everything's working against you.
Yeah.
Right. So I knew that if I could help more people get better at their marketing by getting clearer in their messaging, I could have an impact on changing that statistic, that I could help more people survive that 3 year, 5 year, 10-year mark, if that's what they wanted to do.
Nice. Nice. So who would you say your ideal client is then?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to be totally transparent. This is all about being honest and vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
Like I struggle with the same thing everybody does, and that's focusing and niching, because your message gets stronger when you do that. But because I know every business needs this. So I just want to be honest, like you guys, everybody does this. Everyone struggles.
They do.
Yeah.
They absolutely do. People ask me that all the time. They're like, okay, so it's solopreneurs, but what type? And I'm like, I have worked with a wide variety and none are my particular favorites. I mean, I like so many of them and they all need the help. So how can you just say, I'm only going to focus on, other coaches or people that are social media marketers, or it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's really hard. And I think part of the reason why it's hard for people, and I promise I'm going to answer your question, but I think part of the reason why it's hard for so many people is the way that a lot of people recommend niching and focusing is so limiting.
Yeah.
And I think that it's changing the way that we think about what our niche and focus is. And because, some people are like, well, I don't want to just work with women or just work with men. You don't have to define your niche that way. Or I don't want to only work with people that are in a certain age range or not. Well, you don't have to define your niche that way. So I think that's one of the things that many people struggle with, is just not knowing really how to do that, right? And how to focus in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, like you, I've worked with nonprofits and for-profits, product-based businesses, service-based businesses, online, offline. I mean, I've worked with the gamut, but ultimately I think where my dreamiest clients live is that they are online service-based business owners.
Yeah, bingo. Those are exactly the ones that I like to work with. Same exact thing. I mean, and like you said, there's so many of them, and it just makes the pool that much bigger. It's so much easier to find people. They need the help. They search you out, never mind you having to go to them,
They do. And so I think what is helpful, because you're right, that pool's really big. So one of the things you've got to be careful of is you got this vanilla message that's kind of like attracting this big group of people. But if you can really hone in on a specific subset of people so that your message speaks to them and where they are in their business, in my case, what their struggles are, how that shows up for them, those are the people you're going to attract. So for example, a lot of the people that I work with, they are already investing in other programs, marketing programs, learning how to scale a course or learning how to get more clients, right? They're already making these investments. And they're struggling with getting the results out of those programs because they're missing the messaging. Like they're doing the work. They're like, why am I not getting results and everybody else is? And it's because they just don't know how.
Right.
Every one of these programs and coaches are going to tell you your message is so important, but they don't know how to help you develop it. And that's the key missing piece.
Yes.
That once they unlock that, then like all their investments they've already made, they start to get better results out of those programs, and just kind of unlocks everything for them.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I was going to say, it isn't like step one, you do this, step two, you do that. I mean, there are very foundational things, but your messaging has got to be one of those foundational things, because somewhere down the line, 8, 10, 15 steps in, when things aren't working right, you're going to come back around and say, oh, wait a minute, it's the messaging piece.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like in my dream world, every business owner does this work before they launch, because I know it will help you so much, like get success faster. But the reality is most people don't. They think they can wing it, or they think like, oh, I understand my ideal client avatar, and I think I have a tagline, I'm good to go. And then they go to implement, and they just don't have the building blocks and the pieces and the foundation to know here's the words I use, here's the feelings that I talk about, here's exactly how I want to be positioned. Like if you have that stuff, you're not reinventing the wheel every time you write a piece of content or want to do a video, or things like that. So
yes, that's what it is. Every time you're trying to do content, it goes back to that messaging piece.
Yeah.
So if it's not clear, that's where everything comes a little wonky.
That's where it falls down.
Just not working right. It's got to somehow, I'm huge on business plans, and I wish in my wonderful world, everybody would have a business plan before they started running their business.
Yeah.
But that's got to become part of the modern day online business plan, is that you get your messaging clear.
Absolutely.
That's a big piece of it.
Absolutely. Because what I see a lot happen for a lot of people is they roll out these big marketing funnels, whatever funnel type you like, webinars, challenges, doesn't matter what it is. And they're like, I'm not converting, right? I'm not getting enough people who sign up for my thing. And they think the problem is at the conversion point. Right. It's really everything that leads up to the conversion point. And do you have messaging continuity and alignment? Are you talking to the right people and even attracting the right people in? Or do you have 100 people who are getting to your webinar or whatever, and they're not even the right people? So of course they're not going to convert and sign up for whatever it is that you offer. And that's usually one of the symptoms where people are like, okay, wait, something's not working. I've tweaked that landing page 100 times. I re-recorded that webinar and it's still not converting. And it's because it's not the conversion point that's the problem.
Right. So, I mean, that's exactly why it's so important to have that brand message so that it's roaring. So what does that stand for? What does the roar stand for?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So, because initially you hear that, you hear make your message roar, and you're thinking like loud and bold and confident. And it is that, but it's about it's an acronym. So it's about making your message relatable to your market, one of a kind, so you don't sound like anybody else and you actually get remembered. Actionable, so it's easy for you to implement, easy for you to write content, and causes your market to take action to want to learn more about you. And it's reliable, so that you show up as the expert that you are every single time, building that trust and confidence that that market needs to have in you. You guys have all heard people buy from people they know, like, and trust. Right. And when your message is relatable and one of a kind, then they know you, they learn to like you because they connect with you. And then ultimately that reliability builds the trust that makes them want to work with you.
Wonderful. And that is what originally led me to you, just from that, just hearing that. Your brand message needs to roar. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? I need to find out. And that's how we got connected.
That's how we got connected. And I love that. And really though, so roar, that's my whole methodology. Like that's everything I believe about messaging. And what I want you guys to know that did not come like, I did not just like wake up one day and go, oh, I think it's going to be make your message roar. Like it takes work to find something that's so simple. Like I followed my own process to like dig that out, to like to find something that I knew could encapsulate everything I believe, that would be really easy and memorable, that people would relate to. And it took me like 2 months to find it. But I love when I hear things like that, Pamela, where you're like, that's why I connected with you. Like, wait, I want to know more. And it really sticks in your mind. That's the work that, doing the messaging work, that's what it gives you. It makes it feel so simple and easy and memorable because you're doing the work up front to pull it all together.
Exactly. Oh, good. I wanted to definitely ask you, because I asked this question of everybody that I have on here, sharing either a struggle or some kind of hurdle that you experienced while you were growing your business. What stands out to you that you had to get up and over?
That's such a great question because especially on social media, we tend to only hear people's successes, right?
Yes.
We only hear like the result of like,
Yes.
they struggle and they seem to be an overnight success, but like there's like struggle and it's hard work running a business and building a business. So I really appreciate this question. And I actually been thinking about that. And there's 2 things that came to mind for me.
Oh, great.
Because, and I think the 2 things, like they were struggles at different points in building my business to where it is today. So the first one, because I know so many people probably struggle with this, is even with a business plan, you set out and you think like, this is my business model and this is how I'm going to build and grow. And sometimes for a variety of reasons, maybe your messaging isn't clear enough, maybe it's whatever it is, that doesn't take off like as fast as you want it to. And so a lot of people think about quitting and throwing in the towel, like maybe I'm not cut out for this. And I've had those days too. Like I think we all, if you don't have those days, you're not pushing hard enough.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, you're not pushing hard enough if you've never experienced that. Sometimes I experience that once a week.
Absolutely. Totally. And you're like, I don't know, I'm having an off day. I think I'm just going to go get a job.
Yeah. Or I'm having an off day. So I'm just turning everything off and walking away right now. Yeah. Maybe tomorrow I'll wake up and feel better. But right now, either my computer goes out the window or I take some time off.
That's so good. Because really, like you should not make any decisions in that state of emotional, where you are emotionally, because it's an emotional response.
It is.
Let's be honest. It's because it comes from fear, right? Like I'm not good enough. I'm not going to be able to do this and all that self-doubt stuff. So, so for me, the thing that helped me not make decisions out of that place of fear, and let's be honest, like it's panic, especially if you've like, this is your full-time thing, you're not building a business on the side. And so many people feel or think like it's a bad thing if you do something else to make money, whether that's a different way in your business, like, oh, I want to have a course and that's what I want to do. And maybe you're not building the course fast enough. Well, can you get one-on-one clients, right? That's a different way to make money in your business. Right. Can you get some consulting work? Can you get a side hustle or, another part-time job or something?
Different income streams to supplement. Absolutely.
4 different ways I make money in my business now, right? And so it's still like my course, my program, and my coaching is predominantly the way that I'm structuring my business, but I still get one-on-one clients. I do individual consulting. I do paid speaking. I coach in another person's program. Like I have multiple ways that I'm out there making money in my business. So I want people to know, like, just because you think like this is the way you want to do it, maybe you can't do it that way right away. Maybe you'll find that you like multiple different ways of making money in your business, and that's okay.
Absolutely. I love that. I'm just thinking, I'm counting up the things. I think I'm the same thing. I have like 4 or 5 different streams of income coming in from different levels, whether it's an e-course, whether it's a group setting, it's one-on-one, being an affiliate for different things. I mean,
affiliate's a great way. Yeah.
You have to have different income streams. You can't put all your eggs in one basket and think it's going to be an overnight success, because it does not work that way for 99.99% of the people.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You just don't, hey, today I have a business. And then the next morning wake up and say, where are all my clients?
For sure. And don't be afraid, while you're figuring out the business thing, if you're picking up a side gig that's not in your business. I think some people feel like embarrassed by that, or like, you got to do what you got to do. And by making money, it allows you to not make business decisions out of fear. It gives you the mental comfort that you can make your business decisions out of what's best for your business and the long-term growth.
Yes. Yes.
And
a lot of clarity comes with that. It isn't, I know a lot of people will think of that, oh, it's a failure. I wasn't able to do this. But again, I mean, successful businesses don't happen overnight. They don't even happen within the first month. Sometimes it takes a while for things to pick up the way that you want. And like you said, often you'll start doing something else on top of what you originally started, and you decide you even like that better. And it does take off. So, I mean, there's all different things out there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think we have these unrealistic expectations with online business that like, we're going to make 6 figures in 6 months, right? Like, because that's, people talk about that, like, oh, you're building to 6 figures. That like traditional offline business, like break even points are like 5 years. Like you're not profitable for 5 years. But in the online business space, we all think we're going to be millionaires in 2 years,
Yeah. Because again, that's what you see so much of when you're in that social media spot, especially I want to say more on like Facebook than LinkedIn. I mean, there's certain platforms that it's portrayed that way. And that's why I'm always like, oh, I just cringe when I hear that, because I'm like, you just popped the bubbles of so many people out there that are trying so hard and thinking, boy, I've been doing this for 6 months or 9 months or even a year, and I'm nowhere near that. And that's why it's important to have goals at different levels.
And
setting those realistic goals for yourself. Within 30 days, making $1 million probably isn't very realistic. However, you can set that for years down the road, depending on what your business is.
And revenue is different from profitability. So sometimes,
oh my goodness, yes.
People
and I
talk
wish
about
people
like
understood that.
We'll talk about this $1 million launch, but it cost them $900,000 to do it, right? Between affiliate payouts and the advertising and everything else they did. So it's so easy to feel disillusioned that you're not successful like other people. Like, stay in your lane, set your goals. And maybe you never want $1 million business. Maybe you'd be like super happy that you can make $100,000 a year and work 10 hours a week. Awesome. Right. Like your goals do not have to be anybody else's.
Right. Exactly. And I'm glad you brought that up too, because that, again, you have to relate back to your own goals. I mean, your goal may be that you only have 10 hours a week and you want this to be more of a side hustle or a profitable business where you're bringing like $12,000 a year of income. That's going to change your life dramatically. That goal is very different from someone else's goal where they need to make $100,000 a year. I mean, it's going to look different for each person.
Yeah. So it's so easy to get like caught up in comparisonitis online.
For sure. Oh, good. Well, I know we have to wrap it up, but I'm going to put the links in so people have the best places to connect with you. And I want to ask you, what advice would you pass along to our listeners?
Oh, so many things. But if I could give you one piece of advice, it's you have decided to go into business for yourself because you're really good at the thing that you do. And really hold on to that and find a way to make sure you stand out. There are thousands of other people who say they do what you do. Let's be honest, right? There's billions of people on the planet, at least thousands of people who say they do what you do. And you don't want to blend in and sound like all of them. You want to make sure you stand out, you're heard, you're remembered. And that's what it means to make your message roar. And I want that for you, because without that, it's so easy to like succumb to all of these challenges that we've been talking about. But if you've got the confidence that you know how to show up for your audience in the way that gets them to, that they see you as the expert that can help them, it really is a game changer for your business. And I want that long-term success for you.
I love that. I love that. That's perfect. I can't wait to put this all in there so people can come over to your website and check that out, because it's just so clearly laid out and it's really important things. It's super important things. So
Yeah.
good. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us today, Karie. I appreciate you being here. I want to say thanks to everyone else who joined us for another episode of Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. And remember, every day is a good day to be you. You're amazing. Don't forget it. And my next upcoming episode is going to be Tuesday, November 12th, where I will be talking with another great business owner. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Pamela.